everybody. Welcome to the Sally Allen podcast. I am so glad you're here. Today, we have a special treat for you because we are talking about exploring and uncovering the secrets to mental and physical resiliency for beauty queens, especially this beauty queen sitting here right across from me. We will deep dive into mindset and strategies and practices that empowers beauty queens on and off the stage. With that, I'd like to introduce my friend, and this is her second time back. We can't have enough of her, so we invited her back on the podcast.
Thank you. It's so sweet.
Yes, Miss Ashely Tesoro.
Yes.
And she is also Mrs. Nevada.
Yes.
Yeah. So welcome to the Sally Allen podcast.
Thank you, and hi to everybody. I'm just so excited to be here again. I love it. I get two episodes, which is a true honor. So thank you.
Just know you're the only returning person on his podcast. So
Really? Oh, I'm extra honored. Thank you.
Yes, and we are very honored to have you on. So I know today we said so when you were here the last time, we kind of ran through your story at a high level.
Yes.
And we glazed over your resiliency, mental and physically, a little bit. But today what we want to do is we really want to dig in and hone in to your mental and physical resiliency so we can, people can see, like, even if you can... what you go through, right, every day to look the way you look, which is amazing.
Oh,
you have children and you look that way.
Thank you.
And also to maintain your mental sanity, we would love to know how you do that.
That's so sweet. So I think, the first thing for me, and I know that I shared with you this before, but I am a woman of faith. So I think faith is extremely important. I think that a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health, I think they kind of all intertwine. Yeah. And I think that when our bodies are operating properly and our mind is clear and, our spiritual health is good, I think it's, we're moving with a good energy and in a positive direction in life. And so for me, I like to keep balance in my life. Of course, I take time to work out. That's just something that is important to me. I want to be active. I try to eat properly. Yeah. I definitely have like my little vices, like sugar is one of them. The sugar. Yeah. But overall, my eating is relatively healthy. I'm active. I'm keeping my mental health positive and doing things that I love that make me happy in life. And again, that's all intertwining to make me a more healthy, happy person.
Yeah, I like that. And the way I see life, Ashely, is that my life is, I see them as spinning plates, right?
Yes.
So I have, I have my family is one of those spinning plates. My faith is another one. Volunteering is another one. My job is another one. So if all those plates that are spinning up there are aligned, things are going well.
Of course, yes.
When one stops spinning and it starts dropping, right? Then you know something is wrong. So which plate suffers the most in your life out of your spinning plates? What are your spinning plates, first of all, and which one suffers the most?
Okay, so yes, spinning plates for me, obviously husband, children, ministry, pageantry, all of my extra, curricular fun activities that I like to do, because again, I want to get that in, charity work and involvement in the community, helping other people. I love to help other people. But yes, these are all things that we expend energy on. Yeah. And we only have so much energy in us per day. We don't have an unlimited amount of energy. So for me, it's all about balancing those spinning plates and deciding daily what I need to put energy into, because I know that I cannot do it all in one day. So one day, it might be children, and then the next day is charity, and then it's like, okay, to my husband, we need to have a date day, and then the next day is like, what, I need to get caught up on work. Sleep is super important. So that's not necessarily like a spinning plate, but it's a very big component of health. And I think sometimes that's my growing edge, getting sleep, because I love to, wake up early and stay up late and, work and do everything that I can do. And then I have to remember, I need sleep. So don't neglect your sleep. It's so important. It's like one of the basic fundamental necessities for humans. And my husband reminds me, like, honey, you have to get proper sleep. Yeah. So I try to do that. And then a suffering spinning plate, I'm not sure that I have one, to be honest with you, because I have very much kind of, if you will, if I can say this, like mastered, quote unquote, the prioritizing. And so I feel like I'm pretty good at rotating all those things. Yeah. But, obviously, like I said, you can't do everything in a day. So I have to just take time to rotate all the things that are important to me, work, spirituality, my kids, my husband, all those things. And I feel like when I'm hitting every point and rotating those things, I'm the happiest because I'm hitting all my marks and the things that I love and that are important to me and that I need to be doing.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. So tell us about your physical health. For someone who's listening, right? We're going to talk about you on and off stage. So
Yes.
when you are off stage, what are some of the things that you do for your physical health? Like simple things that if our mom is listening that she can do,
Yes.
someone who's busy in a different way than you are.
Of course.
Yeah,
So
what are some quick things they can do?
weightlifting is something that is so important, and women go, oh my gosh, weightlifting. I don't want to get big. I want to be skinny.
Yeah.
But weightlifting is so good for your muscles, obviously, for your tone and definition, for your skin. You know, you see people that are older and they've been lifting weights and they have this beautiful kind of like skin, it preserves their skin. So on their body, you see it's like, wow, they're in their 60s and their skin is still tight. A lot of that could be genetics and other things, but it's also people that are working out regularly and weightlifting.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about lifting heavy weights, but I will go into the gym if I don't have a lot of time and I'll do a 20-minute weight circuit. That tones me, that brings me good definition, burns calories, but I'm not necessarily bulking. Like it takes a
Right.
lot to get bulky.
Yeah.
So I'm not a bodybuilder or fitness competitor or anything like that, but I do enjoy lifting the weights. I'll do like a 20-minute circuit on my legs, and then maybe the next day rotate to my arms, and then maybe the next day do kind of like, my back and booty. So I rotate, and I have found that weightlifting is something that has been so beneficial because it's a quick result. It's like you could go in for 20 minutes and get in good shape if you're doing it regularly and not have to spend an hour running on the treadmill. I don't even do running or anything like that to stay in shape. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow my knees out.
What's the heaviest you lift?
Oh, I don't even lift heavy. Like I'll do like a 25-pound kettlebell.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah.
squat with 25 pounds.
Yeah.
I'll, swing with 25 pounds. So for me, again, it's like, I have nothing to brag on with the weight, but it has given me like a good, solid, tight-ish figure.
Yeah, I think you're right. Consistency. It doesn't have to be heavy. I hear that a lot.
Yes.
It's all about consistency.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I really work hard in the gym right before my competition. So I'll, definitely up the days I'm in the gym, up the time. But, regularly I'm not in the gym for more than like 45 minutes if I go per session. I just don't have time to do more than 45 minutes. And honestly, it's normally 30.
Well, I thought you had to be doing like an hour or two a day to look the way you look.
Oh, that's sweet. No, because for me, I do portion control with food. So I do not deprive myself. I eat enough. I eat a variety of food. I have dessert, not every day, but I still indulge, but I don't overeat. So if they put a big plate of food in front of me and I'm not hungry for that, and my body doesn't need all that, I'll leave half the food and I'm not going to feel guilty about it or feel like, oh, I have to eat the whole plate. I just know that, oh, I'm full. That's what I need. And it might be a cheeseburger and I might eat 3/4 of the cheeseburger. But for me, it's all about not overeating and just consistency in working out and getting in my sessions here and there. Yesterday I had only 15 minutes and I went down to the gym and did a 15-minute leg circuit. And I walked out with my legs tired. So it did what it needed to do. And it was just 15 minutes, but I didn't have any more time than that.
Yeah, that's great. What about meal planning? Like, do you plan meals or do you cook every day? Again, we're talking about busy moms. You're a mom and you're busy, right? How do you plan your meals?
So for meal prep, I have done that in the past. And certainly when I get closer to my pageant time approaching, I'll sometimes get more strict and I'll order and have meals delivered, and then just make other food for my children. But day to day, I don't do that. And to be honest with you, I'm not a great cook. I'm really not. So I can't speak to that. My mom is an excellent cook. She did not instill that gift to me. My husband is a great cook. So he's really good about cooking for us and everything. But again, for me, I've never been super controlled with food where I'm like, okay, how many calories am I intaking? What is my meal prep? If I'm a fitness competitor or bodybuilder, I see why, or, someone that wants to really cut their weight, I totally understand. For me, again, it's all about, I've found that consistency with my workouts, moderation in eating, portion control, never eating over what makes me full, and not being too indulgent has worked for me. Yeah. So I can't really give anything fancy on that because I don't really do that. But, I think that these tips are still really important. Like, there are moms out there that are maybe overthinking it. And maybe they just need to cut back and not be overeating and, like, you know, not be indulging so much and just getting in more workouts. And maybe they would find that their body would actually kind of start morphing in a direction that they're happy with.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can overthink it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's hard, you know, not even overthinking it, but it could be overwhelming also.
Yes.
Because you feel you have to prepare this big, overwhelming meal for your family when it could be something as simple.
Yes.
Not
And my
so-
husband's more the cook in the family.
He's more the cook in the
yes.
family.
And then, you know, I will cook once in a while. But to be honest with you, that's really my husband's job. And he's been really good with that since we got together. Because, like, the first meal that I made for him was a horrible pot of spaghetti. And he realized really quick, like, wow, you're gorgeous, you know, and you're so talented, but maybe the cooking isn't your strong suit, but honey, it's okay. I got you because I'm really good. You know, his mom and his uncle taught him because they were actually both very good cooks, and he likes cooking. I don't like cooking.
What's that saying? I got gaps, you got gaps, you fill my gaps, I fill your gaps.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was from a movie. But that's awesome. So, you know, when you look at your calendar, one of the things we do is I think of it from the sense of big rocks.
Yes.
Little rocks, right? What are your big rocks on your calendar? Like, what do you put in that you won't compromise?
Things that I put in that I won't compromise is family time. So time with my husband and children, I will not compromise. You know, time to have like that prayer and meditation time for my faith. You know, I'm a Christian and I believe in prayer and I believe in being in God's word and having that time. I don't compromise that. And then also too, like if I am planning for something that's really important, for instance, the Mrs. Universe pageant, I'm not going to compromise the appointments or the things I have set up to give me the greatest advantage to do well and win. So I will make it to my interviews. I will make it to my rehearsal appointments. I will be hitting my marks and things that I need to do because I don't ever do anything unless I can put 100% into it. So if I don't believe that I can excel and put 100% into it, I don't do it, and I don't have any problem saying no. I'm not a people pleaser. That is not a growing edge for me. I have other things that are growing edges, but I feel very empowered in doing what I feel is best and making my life and my husband and my kids a priority. And I don't have a problem ever saying, you know what, that's just too much for me and I can't do it. I'm not a selfish person, so it doesn't mean I won't stretch or like give up something to try to help somebody out. I do that all the time. But if it means my mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual health is compromised, or time away from my children that I know is necessary, or the people that I love, I'll just say, hey, I am sorry, but I can't.
Yeah, it sounds like you know what your values are, and one of your values is your family.
Yeah, 100%. Because when I was little, all I ever wanted to be was a mother. Yeah. And it's funny because I was in entertainment. So I was, from the age of 6, I started in pageants, and I've been in entertainment pretty much my entire life in some form or fashion, singing, hosting, acting, public speaking, pageantry, modeling. I've ran the gamut of all of it. But if you even ask my mother, she will tell you one of the biggest things I always said was like, oh, I want to be a mom. And I would always treat my dolls when I was little like they were real. And I would tote them around everywhere. And I remember just thinking, oh, this is the most amazing thing. I loved all the glitz and glamour and everything of, and the art form of all of the entertainment endeavors I did. But in my heart, I always wanted to be a wife and a mother.
Yeah.
And so now that I have that, and it's my husband and I worked really hard to build something great, I would never want to compromise that. And I want my children to know that I'm there for them. Because it's like the worst if a child feels abandoned or lonely or like, oh, where's mom?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's great.
So.
Your spinning plates are doing really well.
I'm trying. But I have a lot of help too.
Yes.
I really do. Yeah. I have a good support system.
So talking about help and support system, do you outsource anything? Like your laundry or, anything like that?
I have paid my dues in cleaning toilets early on in my marriage. I do not do that anymore.
Good for you.
I have a wonderful lady that comes and helps me clean. Mm-hmm. Not every day. She comes once a week. Mm-hmm. But that once a week is invaluable to me. Yeah. So I need her to be there. And it's very hard if she can't show up. And she helps me put laundry away. She helps me clean toilets, mop floors, change sheets. She's there for X amount of hours every week. And she just, what I put it on a list. What do you she'll tell me, what do you need? And this is what I need. And it doesn't mean that I don't pick up the house. Like I keep it organized. Yeah. I fold laundry. I put dishes, in the dishwasher and put them away. Like but I don't deep clean and all that anymore. It's just, I don't have time. I don't want to do it. And I've been married for 21 years. Since I was 18, I've been married, and 3 kids later, and a lot of hard work and dedication. I don't want to scrub the toilet.
I love that. So for moms who are listening, sometimes they feel, again, like they have to do it all, and they really don't.
No.
Whatever you can afford to outsource, I'd say go ahead and outsource
Absolutely.
it.
And, you know, I know some women that can afford once a month a cleaner. And that's important to them, because that once a month, they get a lot.
Clean, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, or some women, they go, you know, I don't really mind doing the cleaning, but there's something else that they don't need, they shouldn't be compromising on, that would give them that outlet. Yes. So it's not always the cleaning. That's just, for me, that's just something that's like I don't have to do it anymore, so I'm not going to. But for another woman, she might be like, hey, I enjoy cooking and cleaning. But, you know, maybe she needs to take up something else that gives her an outlet or makes her feel kind of empowered to do something that's just for her. So for every woman, it's different. It's just, that's one of my things.
I'm Team Ashely. I don't like to cook and I don't like to clean.
Right? Right.
So we've gone through your physical resiliency, and we've learned a lot, like how you balance your life, how you physically take care of yourself. I think mental resiliency is much harder than physical resiliency, right? Because it takes like a steely mindset to do what you do, because every day you're putting yourself out there. And I see how hard you work on your social media.
Thank you.
Yeah, to put yourself out there. You're always out doing something. And I know you said part of why you're able to do what you do is your faith.
Yes.
In God.
Yes.
But you know, I know sometimes your mindset is shaken because you're going out there, you're going to this pageant, and you don't know what's going to happen, what place you're going to come in. What keeps your mindset steely in that sense, where you don't worry about, it doesn't matter what the outcome is?
I think it's through experience of standing up for myself and learning how to not be a man pleaser. So I think it's impossible to be a man pleaser and to be truly liberated and happy, because you're never really putting yourself first. You're always worried about how other people are feeling. And there's nothing wrong with being compassionate, empathetic, a good person, setting yourself aside for other people. We should all have those qualities. But there should be a self-love that comes first, because you cannot really love and truly other people and be effective if you're not first caring and loving for yourself. Your body is a temple. You know, you have one body, one mind, one soul, one spirit that is given to you. This is it. And if you don't care for it, take care of it, and value it, how can you truly be filled up to give? And you cannot pour out of an empty cup.
That's right.
And so it took time and experience and things happening where you don't change without action. So you can say all day long, okay, I'm going to put more time in myself and I'm going to love myself more. That is an action. Right. So it isn't even really a feeling. It's an action. You could feel really bad about yourself and still choose to act like, no, I'm going to love myself. You can be in a bad relationship and feel like, I just need that man so much to feel okay. I don't feel right. And still say to him, I feel horrible, but I'm still saying no to you,
right?
Because you are abusive, or you are this or that. And so I'm choosing to act in self-love even when I don't feel it. And when you fake it to make it, eventually you become it.
Yeah.
And so in days, even when I feel like in the past, because I've gotten over it, oh no, I'm letting that person down. I'm like, no, you need to choose you, because it's important. And so the mental strength has come through the action first, which then I choose to lead through action. And then my mind, my body, my spirit has to come in line, because I'm defying and going against what I don't need to be doing, and I'm choosing the right thing. And so my body has to come into line. It's like you can hate working out all day long.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it. I'm exhausted. I'm going to throw up. I feel horrible. But as long as you're doing it, your body will change, and eventually your mind will get strong.
Yeah.
And that's how I've done it. Action.
So what's something you really had to work hard, right, to get your body and your mind in alignment with?
Well, I'll give you an example.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example of something that happened to me a couple days ago. Okay. And I'm going to leave names and establishment names out of it. But I was in an establishment, and I came in for a service, and there was a woman that I have no idea who she was, never met her, never seen her. I set my bag down next to her bag. It touched her bag and her sweater. And she looked at me and she said, move your bag. I do not want your dirty bag, which it was a very clean, expensive bag, that people sit on the floor. They sit their they sit their bags on the floor, and you're propping your bag up against my clean sweater and my bag. So move it.
Oh.
And I was like shocked. Like, I don't know if she was mentally ill or just having a horrendous day, or if she was just a really unkind person, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was so extreme. It stunned me. And I did stun me to silence, where I went, oh, okay, I apologize. And I moved my stuff. So I walked away waiting for my service, because she was still in the service chair. And I walked away, and it was like stuck to me like terrible, where I felt terrible. And I was like, you know what? That is 100% not okay. And so I waited for her service to be over, and she got up out of the chair, and I was going to sit in the chair for my service. And I just said to her, you know, ma'am, I don't know who you are. I said, we've never met. I don't mind that you asked me to move my stuff. I totally get where you're coming from. I said, but it was unintentional on my part. And when you came across that way, you really stunned me. And I said, I feel like you came across a little too strong, and we got off on the wrong foot. And she immediately went from 0 to 60, and she started telling me, oh, don't even talk to me. You are so rude. You are so out of line. She said, oh, really? Is it all about this for you?
Oh, my
Do you just
word.
care about this? And she started, like, my appearance?
right.
That you don't care about other people?
Oh.
And I was... And I said, I've never had this happen. Like, I've had confrontations, but not like, this was very bizarre.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, ma'am, you don't know me. I don't know you. I said, I don't know where you're coming from, if you're having an awful day, but you to presume to judge me that I only care about like my exterior or what have you, because I set my bag too close to your bag and your sweater, is so inappropriate.
Yeah.
And she just like threw the biggest scene. And I had to use self-control.
Yeah.
Because it was so offensive and it was so rude. And I sat in the chair, and I even turned my body language away from her, like, okay, we're done. I don't want any more of this. I don't want confrontation. And she got up in my face and was like, yeah, I'll show you aggression. I'll show you what I'm made of. Like, oh yeah, all about you, all about you. And she's taunting me. And I don't know her from, it was bizarre. Maybe she, I don't know if she was on drugs. I don't know. So it was the self-control to just say, oh, I'm going to conduct myself like a lady. And I did correct her and tell her she was out of line, and said, you need to walk on. Like, I have no qualms about being stern, especially when someone's being so physically aggressive like that, like with body language and everything. But I think maybe other women in my situation could have gotten away with a lot more and been justified because of how nasty this woman was.
Right.
But it shows a lot of work and consecration and maturity to be very controlled.
Yeah.
And not just fly off and start like name calling and all that. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to be controlled. And I just said to her, like, you know what, let's just let God be the judge of everything, because obviously you're in a really bad place. So we'll just let God. She goes, oh yeah, you phone God. And I said, okay, I'll be sure to do that.
Hello, God.
God? I'm like,
Leave a voicemail.
yeah. And then she said to me, she goes, oh, are you a Christian? And I said, yeah. She goes, oh, well, that explains everything about you.
Of course.
She's a Christian hater. And I was just like, oh, wow. So anyway, and then she eventually steamed out and walked on, and it was very bizarre. And it was like, okay, well, I used self-control, but I still stood up for myself, because I don't believe in being a doormat.
Right.
But I believe in self-control. Like, we don't want to cross a line that we would feel bad about, no matter how nasty somebody is. So I think it's
with you,
just
especially
self-control.
Being Mrs. Nevada, right? You also have to conduct yourself in a certain way.
Oh,
for
yeah,
in the public
absolutely.
eye.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like I conducted myself fine. Well, more than fine. I feel like I conducted myself well.
Yeah.
And I still didn't walk away feeling like, oh, I let her get away with, just berating and attacking me for no reason. But I also didn't fly off the handle. I didn't scream at her, yell at her, call her names. Yeah. I just said, oh, this is inappropriate. You're inappropriate. And we're going to just let it be in God's hands. And I'll phone God.
I'll text him. You can phone him. I'll text him. So I know one of the reasons why you wanted to, return to the podcast was you really wanted to talk about what you're doing now.
Yes.
So share that with us. What are you doing now? Where are you going? What's happening?
So I am going to the Mrs. Universe pageant in July, which is amazing, at the Westgate. I can't wait. And I'll be competing for the third time as Mrs. Nevada in 3 different systems for the national, well, this is actually an international title, but I've been Mrs. Nevada 3 consecutive years in 3 different systems. And then I've been sent to, thank you. And then I've been sent to their each national pageant. This is my 3rd one. I went to America, International, and now Universe. So I'm really proud. I feel like I've represented our state very well in each system. I'm very excited to go to the Universe pageant. We'll be crowning a Mrs. Universe that night, a Mrs. Universe International, a Miss Universe. So I think it's 3 titles. The judges will be crowning three women, and I'm just excited.
How are you feeling about it? I know you're excited, but do you have a little bit of nervousness, or you're just like, I'm ready for this?
Not nerves yet. It's a little bit, so I'm about a month out. So probably, the nerves will kick in just a little bit when I get there, kind of, but I feel confident and excited. And I think the hardest thing about pageants for me is not the performance. It's how it's very subjective. So you don't know how the judges are going to take you. Like they may really like you and they may not for no reason. Like, because you don't know people's biases or like where, their background or what plays a role in their decision making, because human beings are flawed. Therefore, their decision making cannot always be 100%. So I could technically have the most beautiful dress or the best walk or the best interview, but that's not necessarily going to secure the title. It's how much the judges really like you. Right. It's kind of like a job interview. The most qualified person doesn't always get the job. Who does that manager or that owner love and go, wow, like I clicked with them.
Yeah.
And so all you can do is just hope that they set their judgments or maybe a bias aside or whatever and just purely strip it down to who is the best one. Yeah. But it doesn't always happen like that. So it's just hard because it's just subjective.
But you're going in with the mindset, regardless of what happens, I got to do this and I got this far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am going in very strong physically, mentally, emotionally. I feel like I'm really in a good place, and I'm going to give it all I have and see what we do. But, it's funny about talking about the mind and resilience, because this industry is no stranger to mind games. Like there are women who are the sweetest, most amazing, accomplished women that I adore, that I have friendships with still to this day. And then there are some women that honestly, I think that they have gotten stuck back in junior high and high school, and they have forgotten like being grounded and kind, and it's
and
like
the mean girl comes out if your bag touch their bag.
Right? Yes. I mean, they have reverted back to do not touch my bag. Get your stuff away. And it's like, woo. Okay, I saw like we're not like grown anymore. We have reverted back to the sandbox.
I mean, are we still doing this? Like, are we still?
And it's funny because some women don't. Honestly, they don't grow out of it.
Yeah.
And if you allow it, it will play with your mind, because they'll try.
Yeah.
And it's just like it kind of is like water off a duck's back for me. I feel like my mind is strong.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It can hit my emotions where I'm like, and then I go no, and I just let it go. I just like let it go. It's not worth my peace. It's not worth it. They obviously have something going on with them. When people are mean or rude or that insulting, it's always an issue inside of them.
Yeah.
So.
I think knowing, having the right tools to deal with it, because we're all going to feel all emotion. God created us to feel all emotions, including jealousy, anger, hate, love. But having the tools to just like, that's seconds or within a couple of minutes to say like, listen, I don't even care what you said. I earned this.
Yeah. And I was like, I
take care of this,
like,
right?
that's fine. I was like, but it told me immediately what was going on. Immediately.
Right.
Someone that doesn't know you, that all of a sudden, it's about you. Oh, is it just about you and your face and you? So you have no courtesy. It was like, obviously,
a lot of jealousy.
There's a lot of jealousy. And I was like,
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
It's just like so bizarre. But some women, would have been really shook by that and like, wow, what did I do? And did I do something wrong? And like, oh my gosh. And I just like, maybe that I would have felt that way when I was like 13, but I'm a lot older now and wiser. And I'm like, no, I've earned my space in this world. So step on.
Step on. That doesn't make my heart beat like it used to.
No.
I like it a lot. So is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Just to encourage women out there and men too, to be yourself. You're on this planet for a reason. Live your purpose, live your best life. You might be going through a difficult time, but there's always tomorrow. The Bible talks about sorrow in the evening, but joy comes in the morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes a day can change everything. Sometimes it's a month. Sometimes you go through a hard year. But there's always, if you're living, breathing, walking, you have, the opportunity and hope for improvement and for change. Yeah. And so hold on, have faith, keep going, and, be kind, be a good person, and that goodness will eventually follow you and come back to you.
Man, that felt so rehearsed, but that was really
It was
good.
not.
I know. That's
You know,
what
I
I'm
never
saying. It was not.
rehearsed.
You never rehearsed.
No, you know, I never rehearsed
It was
anything.
so good.
Yeah,
It was so good.
I love to talk,
Yeah.
and I don't really rehearse.
Yeah, I know that, but it felt really good.
Thank you. Well, you know what? You just gave me pageant prep. You're pageant prepping me for the judges. So you just like ran me through all these questions, and I'm like warm, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm ready for these judges."
I didn't even look at any of my questions because I was just let it flow. You know,
good. I love that we did
let
that.
it just float the way it did. But listen, Ashely, I want to thank you for being a guest again on the Sally Allen podcast. We love to have you here, and after the pageant, I'd love to hear about your mindset.
Yes, and I want to hear. Hopefully, I can tell you. Oh my gosh, I got a new crown, but we'll see. Yeah. But regardless, I'll come back and let you know how it went.
Yes,
I'll let you know the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah,
and the outcome.
Yeah, and I want to leave you with this, friends. Don't let anyone steal your power. You must have the right tools, and you must be able to fight against people who are bullies. Like, don't let them steal your power. Don't let them steal your joy.
Amen.
And with that, it's a wrap.